Hello everyone, this is Beastly Eel here, and in today's video we're going to be talking about the latest episode of The Boys, specifically episode 4. So there's a lot that happens, and we definitely want to cover everything, but that being said, there are spoilers ahead, so if you have not seen the episode, please pause the video, watch the episode, and then we can come back and discuss. So this definitely starts off with kind of a weird situation. So we have the boys going to Russia to look for the weapon to kill Homelander. Before that happens, we get to see Huey's reaction to the fact that Homelander and Starlight are together. Granted, it's fake, but at the same time, it feels real. So I'm going to break this up into little story type things because there's two main stories in this episode that go on. There's the one with the Soups and the one with the boys. So we're going to kind of go through the motions here on that one. So we're going to start off with the boys specifically. So Huey gets kind of pissed off that Homelander is getting with his girl, and in fact, they have a little bit of a standoff, Homelander and Huey, and Starlight threatens to kill him. Kill Homelander if he hurts Huey. And Homelander kind of brushes it off like, whatever, like I really give a care about this weak meat sack. So anyway, so he leaves. Starlight explains that he better find the weapon because she can't keep doing this. So she goes over to Maeve to talk to her, and Maeve is training inside a room. So Starlight's like, well, what's going on? I thought you stopped training for months, and you've been on a bender for 6. And she goes, that's because that's what I want people to think. She goes, I don't need people knowing that I'm training, and I don't need people to know that I'm not drinking anymore. She wants to make sure that she's ready to be able to give Butcher a chance to use the weapon on Homelander, even if it kills her. So Starlight basically is like, well, let's work together. Let's kind of do this together. And Maeve is like, no. She doesn't want any part of it. She wants to be the one to self-sacrifice and let everyone else deal with the stuff after the fact. Hopefully, Homelander will be dead. So, we have that going on. Then we have the 7 being reintroduced because Shockwave is going to be a part of the 7 now. But before that happens, we have we see that A-Train is trying to get back with his roots, and he wants to be big on Black Lives Matter. So he does a kind of crappy commercial, and it's a big dig at Jenner's Pepsi commercial. So it's a nice little dig to that, but also to show that it was pointless and it means nothing. So that being said, they show that, and he's not happy with it, and he's heard about Blue Hawk, who's smashing black men's faces in just because they've been considered a criminal, whether or not they were actually a criminal or not. So he's trying to fight for this. So when they're in the 7 and they're discussing that Shockwave is joined, A-Train wants to talk about it, and the Deep's wife texts the Deep to say a specific line, stating that it wouldn't go right with the numbers and the base that Homelander has right now. And Homelander agreed, and he was surprised that the Deep would actually know what he's talking about. And so they ended the meeting. So the Deep and A-Train get into a fight in the hallway about race and everything else. And they kind of beat each other up. I mean, it's not really a fight. It's more of kind of just two, and I'm going to sound mean saying this, but I really don't care, two weak individuals fighting each other. I mean, they're both not fighters at all, and they're hitting each other enough to just knock each other onto the ground. So when Homelander gets there, he helps the Deep up and basically tells A-Train to just stay down there and just stop whining. So then Starlight is now trying to recruit the other members of the 7 to get ready to take down Homelander. So she has Shockwave, who's going to join him, and then when Shockwave sees that the Deep is getting beat, the A-Train got beat by the Deep, and that Homelander doesn't care about him, that he wants A-Train to join him. And the 4 of them seem to be on the same team. While this is also going on, we have the Senator, who is going to go after Homelander for his rude antics on live television. So they're going to make sure that he gets fined for it. At least that's the idea. Stan Edgar really wanted to make sure that Homelander learns a lesson. So as the event goes on, she's actually going to announce to the world her speech on what's going on with Homelander. She gets up there, and Stan Edgar's there, and Homelander's watching with the 4 conspirators against him to show what's going to happen. Oh, this thing. Then she turns on Edgar, who is basically her stepfather, and turns against him and says that Homelander has found some dark stuff on Stan Edgar's files, and that he's going to be investigated. So we see that, and right then and there, the 4 that are thinking about getting rid of Homelander basically saw right then and there that that's not a good idea. He seems to now have control over the entire company, which he now does. I believe he has full control. I don't know. The board members, I think, have the final say, but he has like the overarching discussion. It's tough. So Edgar is up there, and he basically is talking to Homelander like he's a nobody, stating you're just a failed experiment, and that's all you are. And just know this, that there's nobody to protect you, and people are going to see you exactly who you are, a failure. And because of that, you'll be begging for me back before this is done. And walks out, and I'm not going to lie to you, Homelander could have killed that guy with ease. Did not, first off, did not do it at all. Second, well, it looked like he was about to cry. It was kind of depressing. But we kind of knew this because we know how unstable Homelander actually is. But that being said, he let it happen, which was weird. So they then have this little gala thing, and Homelight, as they're called now, happened to be together, and he was saying how he wanted to show her a great view and that they should fly together. She really didn't want to, and he basically insisted, and really she can't say no because it's Homelander, and he runs everything. So he flies her to this spot where Shockwave was bashed in. Dead. And I mean very dead. I mean, there was not much. You could just barely know it was him. Like, that's how much was left of him. And he explains that, A-Train told him what happened, and that your little conspiracy team is going to try to take me out. Well, guess what? It's not going to work. I run everything. I can do whatever the hell I want, whenever the hell I want. So you can either be on board, or that's going to be Huey. And he basically explains to her that he wanted to say that you understand, and that's going to be Huey. And she said that's going to be Huey. And that's how that part of the story ends. So we see Homelander kind of completely loses shit. So we now move on to the boys. So the boys go into the Russian woman's shop, and she basically claims the money's. So they offer her money to pay off the debt for Cherie, and he explains. Frenchie's like, no, that's not going to happen at all. And so Butcher offers all this money, and she goes, no, I want Cherie. And he's like, come on, there's got to be something else that can be offered. And so we don't know what's being offered, but they get this grand, private airplane trip across to Russia. And Frenchie's very worried because he's like, well, what the heck was the offer? And when they get into the Russian country, Russia, I don't know why I said Russian country. But anyway, when they get to Russia, they get to like this, I don't want to say factory, but it looks kind of like an abandoned warehouse type event thing. And we see, or we find out, I should say, that they have to take somebody out. They have to kill a specific Russian leader or some sort of Russian man in general. And that it was going to have to be Kimiko. And Frenchie is not for it, and she's not for it either. And he basically states, here's the thing, you guys are weapons, you do what I tell you to do, and that's the end of it. So she goes and deals with that. So MM talks to Butcher and is like, hey, you can't be talking to a team like that. And Butcher explains to him that, he's not the real leader. I mean, he's the one that makes the hard decisions, but he's not the one that keeps the team together. That's Mother's Milk. That's who's supposed to be the one who kind of keeps everybody together, and they're the ones that he's the one that kind of makes sure the team stays whole. Now, as this is going on, we see that Kimiko goes to this fancy mansion where this Russian guy has a bunch of women in his room, and he has all these superhero dildos, or superhero inspired dildos, and vibrators for all the women to use. I'm assuming because he has trouble down there, I'm imagining, although we don't see it, thank God. So she grabs Black Noir's and slams it right through his back of his head, through out his mouth, and she kills all the guards with dildos. And it is a funny scene, messed up scene, but funny scene. She gets shot in the head by one of the women because she killed all the guards, and she's ready to leave, and one of the girls shoots her in the head. She is able to heal herself. Bullet comes out, and she basically is trying to tell these women, because she can't speak, like, I'm not a threat, like, calm down. That being said, that is all happening, and then she leaves. She's really disappointed, and she explains to Frenchie when they get back that she wants out now. And Frenchie's like, let's help Huey and Mother's Milk, because F Butcher, nobody cares about him, and that they do this last thing, and that's it. So they're getting ready to go to this high security facility in Russia, and Butcher takes some V and gets himself ready just in case. And Huey's asking for some, and the Butcher's like, no, there's a price to pay, and I'm going to be the one that pays it. You don't need to worry about it. And so Huey's like, no, come on, and he refuses. So they get to the place, they shut off the power, they get inside. They are outgunned by these men after they find a souped-up hamster who escaped and killed a couple of guards themselves. But anyway, that being said, they run out of gunfire, and Huey looks at Butcher, and Butcher goes and starts using his suit powers and kills 3 of the guards. Well, there's one that about to kill Frenchie, and Huey teleports and slams his arm. I had to think about it. Slams his arm right through the guy and impales him with his arm, pulls out, and apparently when Huey teleports, he is naked. So let that be a little thought process for you. So Mother's Milk, Frenchie, and Kimiko are very surprised and very disappointed in the 2 of them. Huey's super excited. Butcher is not. And Butcher opens up like this canister type thing, and it's Soldier Boy inside. And he wakes up, and he goes to kill Frenchie. Kimiko jumps in the way, and Soldier Boy has like this weird power now, where he's got like this energy blast inside of him, and he shot it out and hit Kimiko dead center, smacked her through a couple of walls, and then he walks away. So Frenchie goes over to her, and she's not healing. She's got one of the metal barbs right through her, and she's not healing. So Mother's Milk and Frenchie bring her out to the van, and the others kind of get inside and everything else. And Mother's Milk basically states that there's no team anymore. Butcher made sure of that by taking the V. And they were all kind of disappointed in Huey, and Huey's just is very unsure of why people are disappointed in him. And the episode ends with them trying to heal Kimiko, and it doesn't seem to be working. So that's the end of that part of the episode. So all that has happened. So things that are going on. Homelander runs the entire company. He's going to run into the ground, or at least enough that they're going to kick him out. The board of directors, I'm assuming. That being said, the fact that the head popper who is the senator, who teamed up with Homelander to get her daughter V, so she could be a Supe too to protect her, was really weird. Not a big fan of that, but I kind of get it, I guess. I don't know. It's just a weird situation to be in, and I'm not quite positive how I feel about it overall, but whatever. To each their own, I guess. Starlight has dealt with a lot of trauma. I mean, she got to see her ex in a puddle, and Homelander's proven that he doesn't care about anything and will kill everyone and anyone who gets in his way, quite literally. I also think that there's going to be some side effects to Butcher and Huey having suit powers. Not quite sure what they are yet, whether it's just sickness or what, but who knows? We're going to have to find that out. Then we're going to also deal with the fact that Russia has created a super soldier from Soldier Boy to kill Homelander, or the Seven in general, which will be awesome to see because it seems like his blast is radioactive enough to stop the healing process for Kimiko, which could potentially take out her soup DNA, which means that could potentially happen to Homelander as well. So it's going to be interesting to see. A lot of stuff has happened. We still have 4 episodes left. This was kind of like the what's happening type of thing. So that's where I think it's going to be heading towards, is some sort of where Soldier Boy is the weapon, or Soldier Boy became the weapon, that will then kill all soups. That being said, then how do you kill that soup? It's going to be weird. So we're going to have to figure that out too. Also, why did he attack Frenchie out of all the people that were around? Definitely kind of confusing overall. So that being said, we got a lot of stuff that's going to be happening in the next 4 episodes. I am very excited to see what happens. Let me know what you guys thought about this episode in the comments. You know, did you like this episode? Did you not? What specifically did you like, or what did you specifically not like? Let me know. And as always, if you like the content you see, please like and subscribe below. Other than that, this is going to be Beastly Eel signing out. Have a great day.